There's something you need to understand about why this video found you at this exact moment. It's not random. It's not the algorithm. It's because you're standing in the final hour before dawn. And I know that sounds poetic, but stay with me. Because what you're experiencing right now, this heaviness, this confusion, the sense that you're doing everything right, but nothing's moving, it's not failure. It's the last stretch of darkness before the sun breaks. And here's what nobody tells you about that final hour. It's the darkest one, the coldest one, the one where you can't see any evidence that morning is coming, where you start to wonder if maybe this is just how it is now. If maybe the sun forgot about you, but it didn't. The sun is already rising. You just can't see it yet because you're still in the part where everything looks the same, where every day feels like yesterday, where you keep showing up and then nothing seems to change. But something is changing, something massive. You're just on the wrong side of the horizon to see it. And this video must find you now, in this final hour, to tell you what you can't see for yourself. It's almost here. Everything you've been working toward, everything you've been believing for, everything that feels impossible right now, it's about to click. And you'll only see this message once. Because once it clicks, once you're standing in the light, you won't need anyone to tell you morning is coming, you'll be living in it. Let me tell you what's really happening to you right now. You're exhausted, not just physically. Soul tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix because you've been carrying something heavy for so long that you forgot you were carrying it. The weight of wondering if this is it, if this is as good as it gets. If all the work, all the faith, all the showing up when you didn't feel like it, if any of it mattered. And every day that nothing visibly changes, that weight gets heavier because you start to think maybe you missed something. Maybe everyone else got a map you didn't get. Maybe there's a secret you weren't let in on. And you look around and see people who seem to have it figured out, who seem to be moving forward effortlessly. And you think, what's wrong with me? Why is it so hard for me? But here's what you're not seeing. Those people, they had their final hour too. They stood in the dark, wondering if morning would ever come. They questioned everything. They almost gave up. The only difference between them and you right now is timing. They're on the other side of the click, and you're one moment away from being there too, because here's the thing about transformation. It doesn't happen gradually. You don't wake up a little bit different every day until one day you've become who you're trying to be. That's not how it works. You stay the same for a long time. Longer than feels reasonable. Longer than seems fair. And then one day, without warning, everything clicks. The struggle that's been dragging you for months suddenly makes sense. The lessons you've been learning in the dark suddenly illuminate. The person you've been becoming suddenly emerges. And it happens so fast that you'll look around and wonder how you got here. How you went from feeling stuck to feeling unstoppable, seemingly overnight. But it wasn't overnight. It was every single day you showed up in the dark. Every moment you kept going when you couldn't see the point. Every time you chose faith over evidence. All of that was the sun rising below the horizon. You just couldn't see it, but it was happening, and it's still happening right now. In this moment, the click is forming, and you're so close you could touch it if you knew where to reach. Now, let me tell you why this final hour is the hardest. It's because this is where your faith gets tested. Not the easy kind of faith where you believe because you see signs, but the raw kind, the kind where you believe in spite of seeing nothing, where you keep moving forward, even though everything looks the same as it did yesterday. That's the faith that changes you. That's the faith that makes you someone who can hold what's coming, because what's coming is big, bigger than you realize. And if it came before you were ready, before you'd been tested in this final hour, you wouldn't know how to carry it. You'd get what you wanted and not know what to do with it. But you're being prepared right now, in the confusion, in the waiting, in the wondering if you're crazy for still believing. You're not crazy, you're becoming. And becoming always feels like this. Like you're suspended between who you were and who you're about to be. Like you're living in a holding pattern that will never end, but it will end. It's ending right now. You're just in the last part, the part right before everything changes. And I know you know you're tired of hearing just a little longer. I know you've been patient. I know you've been faithful. I know you've done everything you were supposed to do, and you still don't see the results. But here's what I need you to understand. The results aren't coming when you're ready. They're coming because you're ready. Right now. In this moment. You've already crossed the threshold. You just don't know it yet because the click hasn't happened. But it's coming. And when it does, when everything suddenly makes sense and falls into place and you can finally see why it had to take this long, you'll understand. You'll see that every day you spent in the dark was necessary. That every moment you questioned was actually deepening your capacity. That every time you wanted to quit but didn't, you were building the foundation for what's about to happen. And what's about to happen is going to rewrite everything, your story, your understanding of yourself, your entire trajectory. It's all about to shift. And the shift is so close that if you could see what I can see, you'd be laughing at how close you are, but you can't see it yet. So you have to trust. One more day, one more step, one more moment of showing up, even though you can't see the point, because the point is right in front of you, just on the other side of the horizon. Here's what happens right before it all clicks. Everything gets quiet, not peaceful quiet, eerie quiet, like the world is holding its breath. You stop seeing signs, you stop feeling excited, you stop even knowing what you're working toward anymore, because you've been at it so long that the goal has become abstract. And that's when most people quit, right here, in this final hour, because they interpret the quiet as absence. They think if nothing's happening, it must mean nothing's going to happen. So they walk away, they give up, they decide they were wrong to believe in the first place, and they miss it by days, sometimes hours, because the click was right there, forming, about to happen. But they couldn't see it. So they assumed it wasn't real. Don't be that person. Don't walk away in the final hour. Don't let the quiet convince you that nothing's coming. Because the quiet isn't absence. It's anticipation. It's the pause before the symphony's final note. It's the inhale before the shout. It's the last second of night before the first light breaks. And if you stay, if you just hold on through this quiet, you'll see that everything you believed was real, that everything you hoped for was coming, that you weren't crazy or naive or foolish. You were just early. And being early feels exactly like being wrong until the moment it clicks. And then you realize you were right all along. Now, let me give you something practical, because I know you need more than encouragement. You need something you can do. So here it is. Stop trying to see the whole picture. Stop trying to understand how it's all going to work out. Stop waiting for clarity before you move, because you're in the final hour. And in the final hour, you can't see anything. You just have to trust that the sun is rising even though you can't see it yet. And you trust it by moving. By taking the next step even when you don't see where it leads. By showing up today even though yesterday looked the same. By choosing to believe one more time even though you've chosen to believe 1,000 times and haven't seen the result. That's how you honor the final hour. Not by understanding it, by surviving it, by refusing to give up in the darkest part. Because the darkest part is always right before the light. Always. And you're in it right now. Which means the light is so close you could reach out and touch it if you just keep moving toward it. And here's the sign you've been asking for. The confirmation that you're on the right path. It's not external. It's not someone validating you. It's not a breakthrough falling into your lap. The sign is this video. The fact that you found it. The fact that these words are landing. The fact that something inside you is resonating with what I'm saying even though you can't prove any of it. That resonance, that's not hope. That's knowing. Deep cellular knowing that you're almost there. That the click is forming, that the final hour is almost over. And when you know something that deeply, even when you can't see evidence of it, it's not delusion. That's faith. And faith is what carries you through the final hour, not because you're certain, but because you're committed. Committed to seeing this through, committed to showing up one more day. Committed to believing even when belief feels ridiculous. That commitment is what separates people who make it from people who almost made it. And you're going to make it, not because you're special, but because you're still here, still fighting, still showing up. And that's all it takes. Just one more day, one more step. One more moment of refusing to quit, and then it clicks. And everything changes. So if this is landing, if you're feeling that deep resonance, if something inside you is saying, yes, this is real, I want you to do something. Go to the comments and type 4 words. It's about to click. That's it. No explanation. Just those 4 words. Because when you declare it publicly, when you name what's coming instead of what is, something shifts. You stop being someone who's waiting and become someone who's preparing. And that shift in identity, that internal declaration of readiness, that's the final piece. That's what triggers the click. And if you know someone in their final hour, someone who's questioning everything, someone who's about to give up right before their breakthrough, share this with them. Ask them to write it too. It's about to click, because sometimes we need someone else to see what we can't see. To remind us that the sun is rising even when we're still in the dark. Subscribe if you want to stay connected to this work. And if supporting through Super Thanks feels right, it directly fuels more content like this. But real talk, the fact that you're here, watching, listening, I don't take that for granted. Thank you. The truth is, you're not as far as you think. You're not behind. You're not running out of time. You're in the final hour. The last stretch before everything you've been building toward finally materializes. And I know it doesn't feel that way. I know it feels like you've been here forever and nothing's changing. But that's how the final hour always feels, like nothing's happening. Like you're stuck. Like maybe you were wrong to believe. But you weren't wrong. You were just early. And being early looks exactly like being lost until the moment the sun rises and you realize you were exactly where you needed to be all along. You were just on the wrong side of the horizon to see what was coming. But it's coming. Right now. As you listen to these words, as you sit in this moment, as you wonder if anything I'm saying is true, it's coming. The click is forming. The breakthrough is building. The transformation is happening. You just can't see it yet because you're in the final hour. But the final hour doesn't last forever. It's called the final hour for a reason, because it ends. And when it ends, everything begins. So hold on, just a little longer. Not because I'm asking you to, but because you've come too far to quit now. You've survived too much to walk away in the final stretch. You've believed too long to stop believing right before it all clicks. And it's about to click, I can see it. Even if you can't, it's right there, just beyond the horizon. And when the sun finally breaks, when the light finally comes, when everything finally makes sense, you'll look back at this moment and realize this was it. This was the final hour, and you survived it. And everything that comes after will be worth everything you went through to get here.